Okay, today I'm going to show you something really quick and simple. There's a lot of people have asked me how you can just get the best out of your photos. So let's have a look. Let's navigate to where we've got some photos. Anywhere in Windows Explorer, go to your folder where you've stored them, and we will just, let's pick one. Double click. Okay, it then opens up in Microsoft Windows Photos. Okay, it's a fairly nondescript, relatively uninspiring photo, but with just a few clicks we can get the best out of this. So up here you've got Edit and Create, so I'll click on that and choose Edit. Now, as you can see, you've got all sorts of filters and stuff like that to play with, but they're not generally the best way to get the best out of your image. First things first though, try this. Click on the Enhance Your Photo. There we go. Now that will then give you a slider. You can take it all the way off, back to your original photo, or you can enhance it further. It's quite subtle. Sometimes it has a very dramatic effect, but that's the first place to start. Next, we'll move across here to adjust. Click on that. Now, you've got a bunch of settings here. Don't panic. The light, play with that. It's just going to play, and as you can see, you can get some very dramatic effects, but you're better off playing with the pieces that it uses one at a time. Now, contrast, that's the difference between the light areas and the dark areas. So we take it all out, it becomes very flat and washed out, put it back in, it becomes very dark and very bright in areas. Exposure, massively underexposed, heavily overexposed, and you can play with that to your heart's content. Highlights. Now this is just going to be the bits that are really bright on the screen. It might be a reflection on a face or a flame or something similar. You can play with that one, and it just affects the bright areas. If you notice, the rest of the image pretty much stays the same. Shadows, obviously the exact opposite. It's going to play with the darker areas and leave the bright areas alone. For an image like this, I would normally add in a touch of contrast just to give the picture some depth. I'm going to leave the exposure where it is for the moment. I am going to bring the highlights down because that will put detail back into the clouds. Like so. If you go too far on some images, you'll start to see pixelization in here, which is, you'll get color bands and things like that. So, you know, don't. Often less is more, so we're going to go for about here. We'll deepen the shadows just a little bit, just to add some depth in the midground. The exposure, yeah, okay, we'll leave that where it is. Now, colour. The main slider here will either saturate the colours and bring them out really vividly, or it will turn it into black and white, or anywhere in between. So you can go for a nice washed out image or an oversaturated image or anything you like, but for the moment I'm going to leave that roughly in the middle. Tint, this will take you from red to blue, oh sorry, green to blue. All the way down is going to be your greens, all the way up is going to start putting red hints into it. I generally tend to leave that one alone unless I've turned it quite washed out and I'm after an effect. Warmth, cool winter's day, warm summer's day, very warm summer's day. I think that must be on Neptune, this one, but you know, again, less is more. But often, if you remember that it was a bitterly cold day, but your image isn't showing it because maybe your white balance wasn't off or your colour profile was different in your camera, you can just adjust it ever so slightly. Clarity. Now this will start to bring out the detail, or get rid of it. If we wash it right out, a lot of the detail gets lost and it looks quite a fuzzy, almost an old-fashioned photo from a point-and-shoot camera. Go the other way and it becomes hyper-realistic, almost an HDR image. Especially if you then bang in lots of saturation, you end up with an HDR type image from a single exposure, which is quite cool. Again, clarity, pretty much less is more. You just want it to bring out the detail. Vignette, it's very simple. This is just going to put either a dark circle around your photo or a light circle around your photo, or whichever size or grade that you choose. Often quite handy if you've got a little something up in one of the corners that you didn't want in the image, like a bird flying through the scene or something like that. You can use a vignette, just get rid of it. Redeye, that's self-explanatory. If you're taking a portrait and you've picked up the flash in somebody's eye, you just literally click on that, it will give you a circle, you put it over the red eye, you click, and it will do it. Spot fix, if somebody's got a nasty boil or something on their face, or something, I'll just show you. Let's have a look. This little stone down here, let's say we didn't want that in the image. This is not the greatest thing in the world, but you click it and it's kind of gone, but yeah, not overly keen on that. But there you go. So you've basically took it from where it was to where it is now. So save a copy. Now what this will do is it will put it in the same folder as you had, and it will just add a number 2 at the end. So as you can see, it's quite a dramatic difference with just a few clicks.